This pilot gets into the most insane and terrifying situation paragliding has to offer. Blowing a maneuver in SIV and tumbling into the canopy, getting totally tangled up in the lines and struggling for his life. Today, I'm going to break this video down so that you can avoid this situation and also just to make your SIVs a bit safer. Are you ready? Here we go.
See ya.
Hey, what's up everybody? This is Ari in the air. Welcome back to the channel. Stoked you're here. If you're new, welcome. I teach high-level paragliding with emotional intelligence and relationship skills because technical skills alone make incomplete pilots. This is your last chance to join my integrated pilot course. I'm going to teach you the emergency skills that actually matter, the mindset tools to be able to assess risk accurately, and forecasting the weather like an absolute pro. Links in the description. We're starting this weekend. Okay, let's get into this video here. We're going to watch it one time, and then I'm going to go back and we'll break it down. Okay, so he's in Oludeniz, Turkey. He's I think he's Saudi Arabian. I can't remember exactly. He stalls, hands up, to stage, tumbles almost perfectly into the wingtip. Oh my God, just look at this. This is insane. He's just plummeting. Free fall speeds here, struggling to get the reserve out, tangled in the lines, tangled in the sail, spinning around uncontrollably. Finally gets the reserve out of the bag. Is it tangled with the lines? We can't see yet. And finally something changes here. We've got a reserve opened, a square. Oh my God, and look, he's still totally tangled up in the lines here. Just an absolute mess. Struggling, trying to kick his feet out of this. It's hanging him sideways. He's not hanging under the reserve properly. He's all tangled up in the lines, what seems like millions of them. Brake handle just loose. Look, he's like kind of like deer in the headlights here. Look at the tangles on this glider. Look at the tangles. Look at how many times it twisted around itself. What a giant mess. Okay, he basically, the video ends here, but he basically just like kind of goes down and splashes into the water safely. So luckily, all's well that ends well. So let's get into a couple of things here about this maneuver, what he did wrong, and how you can really avoid this. And also just something about how you can make your SIVs safer. So the two things that I noticed right off the bat, first of all, he's wearing a face mask. Anytime you're over water, pull your face mask down. If you go into the water with a face mask on, you're basically getting waterboarded, right? This is the CIA interrogation technique where they put a towel over your face and just pour water on it and you can't breathe through it. So this is the same thing. If you're over water, pull your face mask down. The other thing is he's got a twist in his riser right here. So kind of just, might show the level of pilot. Also, I so appreciate him sharing this video with us so that we could learn from it. And I'm going to tell you a couple things that he did really well and right where he does the mistake that nearly costs him dearly. Okay, so if we go here, he's listening on the radio. He does not have a half wrap. He's holding on to the top of the brake toggles. He tries to stall the glider. Okay, the glider stalls. He goes hands up like he's going to do a two-stage stall, and then never catches it into backfly, lets it shoot with just a little bit of brake pressure, which makes it worse on this type of glider. And then he cascades into the lines, poof, and it's like a big soft blanket. Oh wait, no, he's plummeting out of the sky like a rock. Okay, so let's go back. So look, a couple of problems here. You want a half wrap because if we play and we go to this frame right here, that's the full throw of his arms. He can't put the brake toggles down further. And so he's forced to just wait. Where if you have a half wrap and you pull your hands down to this, it's going to stall the glider immediately when you get there. And that's the configuration you want to be in. You want to be able to control the moment at which the glider stalls so that you can control how much energy you take into the stall. Okay, so definitely need a half wrap here. Second thing is the glider stalls, and then he goes hands up. You see that right here? He's kind of in like he's doing a perfect 2-stage stall. And I don't know what his instructor is telling him here, whether he's doing his first stall ever or he's trying to learn a 2-stage stall. But at either way, he nails the 2-stage stall entry, which is stalling the glider, going hands up, and then pulling it into a tail slide. Like in this frame here, he's in a perfect tail slide. But what you have to understand about this maneuver is stall is everything in a paraglider is a pendulum. You're managing a pendulum. And so in this case right here, he's way out in front of his glider, right? He's like this. The glider is back flying slightly, but he has a little bit of like inertia going forward with his body. That means that the glider might backfly, but then as he starts to fall onto the lines, it's going to create energy and want to shoot. So just because the glider shows signs of tail slide initially does not mean that it will just go into tail slide cleanly without additional brake input by the pilot as the pilot's weight falls under the glider. And this is what we see as we push play, is that the glider starts going forward. He even, if we go back just a couple of frames here, you see that as the glider, like this is the moment of deep tail slide, start here. And then as we click through the frames, right, he starts swinging under the glider and he actually goes hands up right here. Look at that. That basically gives the glider the full inflation. And within a couple of frames there, it shoots really hard and he just pulls very gently on the brakes. Okay. He pulls very gently on the brakes and that he's not actually like applying a bunch of brake. He's just taking the reflex out of the glider. And if you do this on modern student gliders that have a better reflex, the glider will shoot harder, not softer. So a little bit of brakes makes the glider shoot harder, not softer. And so what he does is he creates this perfect surge that he just like, it's almost like he's an acro pilot doing super stall to infinity or tail slide to infinity. And the glider shoots so hard that he goes right into the sail. Okay. When you go into the sail, I mean, looking at this frame, this is just a nightmare. Like, how do you get your reserve out? You don't know that you'll ever be able to get, you don't know if you'll ever get the reserve out or if it'll open clean or any of these things. You also just go into free fall speed. When you have a tangled, messy glider above you, it's still a glider. It's still slowing you down. Whereas if you're dragging the glider, it just kind of is a streamer and you're streamering and you're like a rock plummeting into the ground, mummified preemptively. So this is not good. Some of the craziest footage I've ever seen, honestly. This is insane. It's just so crazy. I'm so glad it worked out. Okay. So let me just show you this other video. I've kind of referenced this before. So this is me flying at Pine Mountain on my ENC 3-liner. So I'm going to start with just inducing a bunch of pitch, and then I'm going to start doing stalls and then going hands up and letting the glider shoot. So here's pitch, and then this is the first stall. Pull the glider stalls, hands up, a little adjustment, hands up, let it shoot and catching. Okay, and on this one, I want you to watch the amount of brake I pull to catch the glider. Stall, shoot, pull. Okay, so let's go back and look at this, how I catch the glider here. Okay, so this is basically the same configuration, right? Like he stalls the glider goes behind him. There it curls, he goes hands up, okay? The glider looks like it's in a tail slide here, right? As both the glider and the pilot are falling towards the earth. As the pilot starts falling under the glider builds power, reinflates, creates a clean span, and is already shooting. As here, I'm under the glider and I'm already pulling on the brakes to almost the carabiners with a half wrap, okay? And then if you play forward, you see now the glider is shooting and I'm at the seat board and you see the C riser is starting to deflect. And if we just key forward here, further frames, I continue to pull the brakes. And look, now I'm basically at maximum extension, have the brakes pulled as far as I possibly can. The C riser is slack because the brakes are being pulled so far that it's slack in the C's, okay? And then immediately, once the glider stops progressing towards the horizon, I go all the way hands up all at once. So if we go back to this other vid, then we'll see that he pulls the brakes, stalls the glider, goes hands up, but then as it shoots, he never makes a big correction, a big catch, okay? So that's your mistake, right? Pretty simple. Now, to tell you how to make your SIV safer, in general, I would say that instructors and students alike would benefit enormously by introducing detailed visualizations into their practice. Okay, so if you are going to teach someone to do a 2-stage stall, you need to do it dry, like a number of times. Remember that your brain doesn't know the difference between detailed visualization and practice. Literally, you can build motor neurons in your brain by practicing something with your eyes closed, visualizing every step of it and what you will imagine. Olympians know this. This is a very well-known thing in sports. Like, this is studied and proven over and over. You know, skydivers do dirt dives, like they practice on the ground all the time. And this is something that paragliding is yet to totally catch on. So before I ever tried my first full stall, I watched many videos, Theo de Blix, and I talked to a lot of people about how to do it and what they thought. And I came up with my own little script where I could sit in a chair and I could close my eyes and I say, okay, I'm going to be sitting. I'm going to drive my ass way back into my harness. I'm going to grab a half wrap. Okay, I'm ready. My harness is really upright. I'm looking at the glider. I pull down to slow the glider down. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to punch the glider down and stall it. The glider's going to fall back behind me, maybe out of sight. I will feel a free fall sensation. It'll feel like I'm falling. I'll have wind going past my head this way. Soon I'll go under the glider and the brake pressure will increase rapidly, so I want to keep my elbows in. Then as the glider starts to settle overhead, I'm going to slowly and symmetrically raise my hands up to find a stable tail slide, right? Somewhere towards the carabiners. Once it's stable, then I'm going to continue with quiet hands and a quiet body. I'm going to continue slowly releasing my hands up as the glider fills and the span builds. When the glider rocks and is in front of me, I can go hands up and let it fly. This allowed the instructor to listen to what it was that I had planned and to listen to my explanation about it and to add, subtract, emphasize various things. Then we could just go over it again. Okay, if this happens, what are you going to do? Oh, if you lose heading control and the glider starts to rotate, what are you going to do? If the glider doesn't stall immediately, what are you going to do? All of these various things allow an instructor to really see where you are in your progression of both understanding paragliding and your own ability to manage your nervous system, because you might find that someone on the ground seems like they're ready to go, fit and eager, and then you get into the sky and they might have a momentary lapse of their fine motor control, and even though they could explain something, then it doesn't entirely pan out that way. So SIV inherently is dangerous. Doing maneuvers in paragliding is dangerous, and giving your safety up to an instructor is not something I recommend. So going into a course and really making sure that you understand what you are going to do and you can walk yourself through that process and you can move the same muscles at the same time is really critically important. Watch the Blue Angels. The highest level fighter pilots in the world are doing exactly this. An eyes closed visualization. They are turning their heads to where they're expecting to see things. They're moving their hands, controlling the airplane. They are predicting and getting ready for what sensations that they will feel, what they will hear, what they will see, what they will do with their body. All this is incredibly important, and we are aviators just the same. We need to introduce this level of seriousness into our training. Okay, so it's all on you. There's not many instructors out there who are going to help you do this kind of thing. So developing this kind of practice is kind of on you. This is why I've made the integrated pilot course. We are starting this weekend. This is kind of your last chance to sign up, and it's going to cover a lot of the emergency maneuvers that actually matter, the protocols that actually matter, the mindset so that you can make good flight decisions and assess risk accurately, and how to forecast the weather like a pro. My eyes on your paragliding career. I would love to help you out in any way that I can. It's 3 live sessions with me, and it's going to connect you with a worldwide group of safety-minded pilots. Look forward to running it. Can't wait to see you there. Thanks so much for watching. And thanks so much for this pilot for reaching out and sending us this video so we could learn. Very informative. See you on the next episode.